Next week on The Young and the Restless, a shocking murder happens on the Dumas estate. Here's a look ahead at the episodes we'll see from July 14th to Friday, July 18th, 2025. On The Young and the Restless, is there a murderer on the Dumas estate? According to Chance, there is, and he thinks it's someone he knows. Kane brought Chance to the estate to play detective, as he believed someone would try to kill him by the end of the week. But Kane couldn't have thought that one of his guests would try to assassinate him. If he did, why would he have brought them to his private estate and forced them to stay there? While guests were out staying their welcome, Kane has gone back and forth to Genoa City in 24 hours or less. Does that mean that someone has snuck onto the property with malicious intentions? And who would be the target? No one else on the estate other than Kane has felt as though they were in true physical danger, and none of them are the murderous kind. Or at least, they're reformed. Since no one knew Aristotle was Kane, is the real target Dumas? What has Kane done that he would think someone would want to actually kill him? And if he was in real danger, why did he bring everyone there for an extended, involuntary vacation? We know Damian found old knives on the dining train car, and we couldn't help but notice when he was handling one of them that he was getting fingerprints all over the handle. Was that a mistake? This week, Damian wonders if Kane has poisoned him for hooking up with Lily. Probably wasn't the nicest thing he could have done to his host and former boss, but we're still curious why Damian was even invited. Everyone there has a purpose of some sort. What purpose does Damian still serve to Kane if he is no longer employed by him? Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Jack Abbott, played by Peter Bergman, is the patriarch of the Abbotts on The Young and the Restless. He's Billy's older brother, but recently, he likely felt like his father, as Jack had to remind Billy not to get in over his head. For his powerhouse delivery, Soap Central is bestowing Performer of the Week honors on Bergman. Billy had cooled off in the pool, but Jack was feeling the brutal effects of the heat. That didn't get things off to a good start when Jack realized that Billy was getting in over his head in business. Jack methodically pointed out to Billy that Kane was after Chancellor Industries, which put him in Victor's orbit and not theirs. Bergman kept a controlled but firm tone to his voice, but then he added a quizzical lilt when Billy's look indicated there might be something Jack needed to know. When Billy revealed that he wanted to ally himself with Kane, Bergman had Jack shift into another gear. His back immediately went up as he saw what was going on and the road Billy was going down. Bergman made the choice to have Jack pace, put his hands on his hips, and changed the look on his face to show great concern. From the second we got here, every word, every thought was about Kane Ashby and what he wants, Jack barked at Billy. What about Abbott Communications? I invested in it to give you something to focus on. When Jack learned that Billy was putting Sally in charge of Abbott Communications should she need to step in, he was livid that Billy didn't consult him first. My problem is I made this investment in you, Jack shouted at Billy. A lesser actor may have just looked at the words on the page and initially interpreted them as being part of a business storyline. Bergman, however, made sure to inject the long-standing relationship between the two brothers. Jack cares for Billy deeply, and it was clear that his frustration was born out of that. This was not a financial investment for me, Jack said. This was for you, my brother. Jack was hurt that Billy would so easily walk away from the gift his brother had given him. Jack's not worried about the money that could be lost. He's concerned about his brother taking another fall. It was a gift of love and faith, Jack passionately continued as to why he backed his brother. And you are looking at me, saying I don't need that mark of faith. I'm going to go back to chasing dreams that never come true. Jack passionately added that this wasn't about trusting Kane or not. His frustration came from fearing that Billy would make another mistake. This is what I worry about, Billy, Jack said. It's still the thrill of the win for you. Jack agreed with Billy that he'd love to see Victor be taken down, but not like this. You can't measure your life by your victories over Victor, Jack shouted at his brother. It's meaningless. It's empty. He encouraged Billy to go out there and succeed, but not by going after Victor. Realizing he wasn't reaching him, Jack warned Billy that he should be careful not to screw himself out of two companies. Billy asked if Jack was threatening him. While Jack didn't have a line to respond to Billy's question, Bergman chose to have his character respond by continuing to stare his brother down, hoping that his powerful look would send the message that he so desperately wanted Billy to receive. Kudos to Bergman for playing Jack as a passionate and loving patriarch who will always put his family first on The Young and the Restless. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Tuesday, July 15th, reveal that Lily Winters will reel over Damian Kane's death, while Chance Chancellor kicks off a criminal investigation and grills some suspects. Following a major Damian Kane stabbing cliffhanger, Y&R fans will see the fatal aftermath in Tuesday's episode. Phyllis Summers' loyalty will be put to the test after witnessing Kane Ashby holding Damian's wounded body. Kane may swear he wasn't responsible and hope he can count on Phyllis to prove she's a team player. Since Chance will take charge of investigating all this, Phyllis might lie about seeing someone else with the knife and back Kane up. Then again, Kane may just urge Phyllis to run off and pretend she never saw anything at all. It's possible Kane will get Carter's help to somehow stage a new crime scene and take some heat off himself. Regardless, Phyllis will eventually bump into Nick Newman and suspect that he saw something too. That'll give Phyllis a chance to quiz Nick and try to figure out how much he knows. Once Nick realizes things are getting dangerous on the property, he'll be more determined than ever to find an escape plot. Nick will feel like he has to get his loved ones home before any other criminal drama can play out. Unfortunately, nobody will be going anywhere anytime soon since Chance will be doing plenty of investigating. At some point, Lily will get updates on Damian's grim fate. Although Lily didn't know Damian all that well yet, she came to care about him in recent months and was hoping for a new chapter together. Lily will obviously be upset over Damian's life getting cut short, and will surely have questions for Kane on Tuesday's Y&R episode. This is horrific news that'll throw Lily for a loop and could leave her wondering how far Kane would go to get rid of the competition. However, everyone will be a suspect once Chance rounds most of the gang up for interrogations on the train. Chance will want to speak with each person privately and get them to spill their whereabouts during the deadly time frame. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, July 14th, reveals that Damian Kane will get stabbed and collapse in Kane Ashby's arms. Phyllis Summers will also spot a crime scene, so here's what Y&R fans can look forward to. On the train, Phyllis will stonewall Billy Abbott when it comes to what she's learned through her meetings with Kane. The fact that Phyllis seems more inclined to give Kane loyalty than anyone else will continue to irritate Nick Newman. After Nick and Sharon Newman head for the maze, she'll return to the train car to retrieve something and send him to the bar without her. Meanwhile, Kane will be with Amanda Sinclair when Lily Winters pops up for some flirty moments with Damian by her side. That'll lead to Kane asking if Damian and Lily are a couple, so Lily will eventually claim they are. Kane will promise not to mention his feelings for Lily again, and will wish her happiness, even if this isn't the outcome he wanted. After Kane asks to speak with Damian privately, Amanda and Lily will take a walk together. Once Amanda quizzes Lily about whether she's using Damian to get Kane to back off, Lily will push for the truth about Kane's agenda. Amanda will get frustrated over Phyllis being the only one willing to give Kane the benefit of the doubt. Lily will obviously have good reasons to remain wary of her ex, but Amanda will defend Kane and his growth as a person. As for Nick, he'll pop up to grill Amanda about why she's such a Kane apologist. Lily will eventually feel like Kane and Damian's discussion is taking too long, so she'll go looking for them. Back with Kane, he'll grab an expensive bottle of booze and pop it open so he can share it with Damian. Kane will sip it slowly, but it'll seem like Damian's downing more of it faster. Kane will assure Damian that he'll keep his word not to pursue Lily if that's what she wants. That said, Kane will warn Damian not to hurt Lily, so Damian will insist he doesn't intend to. At one point, Damian will start feeling woozy and will question if Kane's trying to poison him over Lily. Kane will argue that they're both drinking the same thing and suggest he'd be trying to take them both out if that was the case. However, Kane will ultimately realize he feels woozy too, and will determine that something isn't right. Damian will be feeling much sicker by then, but Kane will think they need to get back to the others. Nearby, someone wearing gloves will lurk with a knife. After Kane stands Damian up and tries to get him to walk, the mystery culprit will get close enough to hurl the knife into Damian's back. Kane will seem stunned as wounded Damian falls into his arms and eventually loses consciousness on the ground. Back with Phyllis, she'll get lost in the maze again and will hint about things seeming different tonight. Phyllis will seem like she's trying to fight off her panic as she runs into Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott. After everyone splits up, Phyllis will appear in the courtyard and see Kane holding stabbed Damian in his arms. Kane and Phyllis will lock eyes as she takes in the crime scene. On a river shimmering with the lights of Genoa City, a lavish yacht party, intended to celebrate new alliances, quickly spiraled into a scene of sheer terror. Beneath the crystal chandeliers and celebratory toasts, a dark undercurrent of tension culminated in a shocking crime, leaving one man fighting for his life and everyone else a suspect in a high-stakes murder investigation led by one of their own. The evening shattered the moment Damian Kane collapsed. 1 minute, he was raising a glass. The next, he was on the deck, gasping for air as a suspected poison ravaged his system. The music died, a glass shattered, and a scream from Lily Winters cut through the stunned silence. As panic swept through the guests, Detective Chance Chancellor, present as a guest, instantly took command. His law enforcement instincts overrode any personal feelings, transforming the luxury vessel into a crime scene. Chance's decisive actions sent a wave of disbelief through the attendees, particularly his loved ones. He ordered the yacht anchored mid-river, ensuring the perpetrator had no escape. In a chilling announcement, he confirmed everyone's worst fears. When a trembling Lily asked if this was a murder investigation, Chance's grim reply left no room for doubt. "That's exactly what we're considering." The statement drew a bitter retort from Devon Hamilton. "So basically, what you're saying, Chance, is that all of us are suspects." The line was drawn. Friends and family, including a stunned Abby Newman, were now officially potential criminals. Chance began a series of intense interrogations, peeling back layers of deception. The most obvious motive stemmed from the toxic love triangle between Lily, Damian, and a dangerously jealous Kane Ashby. Their rivalry had already teetered on the edge of violence, providing a powerful reason for someone to want Damian permanently out of the picture. As the investigation deepened, a horrifying discovery near the stern escalated the danger. A discarded knife, its blade slick with blood, was found abandoned. The find shifted the entire focus of the inquiry. Was the poisoning merely a distraction for an even more brutal crime? Or was a desperate killer on board, willing to strike again to cover their tracks? The yacht, once a symbol of celebration, had become a floating prison. With Damian's life hanging by a thread, Chance found himself navigating a tangled web of motives and lies. He knew the killer was watching, hiding in plain sight among the people he trusted most. The young and the restless spoilers suggest that Audra Charles is working overtime in Nice to seduce Kyle Abbott in order to break him and Claire Newman up. If she accomplishes this, she'll score funding for her cosmetics company. Audra has come up with a great strategy to make Kyle look like a bad boyfriend. But if she accomplishes this goal, will she out him or try and cover things up? The young and the restless spoilers reveal that Audra had made a promise to Victor Newman that she would break Kyler up, but not cross a line herself. After all, she's in a committed relationship and truly loves Nate Hastings. While she'd love nothing more than to run her own cosmetics empire, she assured the mustache's success without jumping into bed with Kyle. With that said, could she get swept up in emotion, enjoy a one-night stand with Kyle in Nice, get the goods she needs to get to break up his romance, but then backtrack? Kyle and Audra have bonded in Nice. What started off as fighting turned to banter, and is now heavy flirting on both ends. Even Kane Ashby took notice during the Friday, July 11th episode. While he questioned their working relationship, he did agree to delay his Aristotle Dumas reveal to accommodate Audra's publicity stunt idea to create hype for their two companies. The July 11th episode ended with Kyle and Audra slipping into her train car to celebrate Kane's decision, and it's hard not to think these two could be close to crossing a line. Still, as Audra gets wrapped up in emotion, forgetting the goal to make Kyle look bad, could she hit the sheets with him and realize she's just ruined her relationship with Nate? If so, will she decide against exposing Kyle to hide her one-night stand with Kyle? Will her guilt about what she's done get the better of her? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Mariah Copeland's victim could show up alive. What if Mariah didn't kill that stranger on her business trip after all? Mariah has been haunted by flashbacks, including one that appeared to show her smothering that man to death. However, things aren't always quite as they seem on soaps. Sharon Newman assumed she killed Heather Stevens and went as far as disposing of the body, but she wasn't guilty of murder in the end. Y&R delivered a twist in that story, and could deliver one in Mariah's story too. There are still some puzzle pieces missing from Mariah's traumatic night, so the show will have to reveal more eventually. Mariah recalled suffocating that guy with a pillow, which she clutched afterward as she cried. Of course, fans are eager to see more flashbacks and ultimately find out what happened next. Mariah was drunk and an emotional wreck, so she may not have had the brain capacity for an elaborate cover-up. Instead of getting rid of the body, Mariah may have just left it where it was and bolted. Since she didn't know this man, perhaps Mariah hoped that there would be nothing to tie her to the crime scene. Then again, Mariah may not have been doing much thinking at all in that moment. The panic of the situation may have taken over and simply caused Mariah to run. With that in mind, Mariah could easily have raced out without realizing this stranger still had a pulse. It's also possible someone came along and revived the man after Mariah took off. Whatever the case, Mariah is in for a shock if her victim ultimately shows up alive. Maybe Mariah left something behind that she's forgotten about, something that could help this guy track her down in Genoa City. It'd be a relief for Mariah to know she didn't kill anybody, but she might trade one problem for another if this man tries to blackmail her or goes after revenge. No matter how it all plays out, there may be some curveballs ahead when it comes to this stranger and what actually happened that night. Eric Braden has had a prominent career as a soap star, playing Victor Newman on The Young and the Restless for years. However, he recently admitted that even he gets looked down on for his work. This came out as the star was having a conversation with a few other prominent soap opera stars. Braden was first offered the role of Victor Newman on The Young and the Restless in 1980. The role was initially meant to only last a few months. However, he proved popular enough to have his time on the show extended. Since then, fans have continued to see Braden appear on the soap over the ensuing decades. The role has also won him a Soap Opera Digest Award, a People's Choice Award, and a Daytime Emmy Award. In addition, Braden has appeared in a variety of projects over the years. In 1997, he famously played John Jacob Astor IV in the blockbuster film Titanic. However, things haven't always been easy for the actor. Recently, Braden talked about the stigma of working in daytime television during an appearance on the new podcast series, Soapy. This CBS podcast is headlined by two other soap alumni. These are Rebecca Budig, who is known for her work on All My Children and The Bold and the Beautiful, and Greg Rickhart, who is known for his work on The Young and the Restless and Days of Our Lives. During their conversation, Rickhart noted that many soap actors use the genre as a training ground before moving on to other acting roles, though he took issue with the idea that soap roles weren't professional. Braden responded to this, saying, "You better be prepared." At this, Rickhart noted that Braden was an advocate for soaps. He then asked Braden if he had people looking down upon him for his work. Braden admitted, "Oh, they all do. I remember colleagues I used to work with, obviously in a nighttime film. When you meet, you say, 'So what's up? What's new with you?' I said, 'I'm doing a soap.'" He then claimed these co-stars would reply with things like, "What? Oh, huh." However, the man behind Victor Newman teased that he still had the last laugh. He shared, "They're all dead, or they're all gone, or they haven't worked in years. I'm still at it." Rickhart shared that he was impressed, noting, "Any of them would be lucky to have your career." Braden noted, "I love it. So it's a stupid prejudice, based on absolute ignorance." The week of July 14th through July 18th on The Young and the Restless delivers a whirlwind of emotional shocks, dangerous confrontations, and deep betrayals as the characters find themselves entangled in a mystery that would shake Genoa City to its core. Monday's episode opens with Amanda and Lily trying their best to play nice. Amanda reflects on Kane's efforts to change, even calling him a good guy now. However, suspicions run deep. Amanda wonders if Lily is using Damian to hurt Kane, while Lily presses Amanda for details on Kane's plans. Amanda keeps quiet, comparing her role to Kane as similar to Michael's to Victor, loyal, yet discreet. Meanwhile, a maze expedition with Jack, Diane, and Phyllis takes a puzzling turn. They suspect Kane's people have altered the maze. Phyllis goes her own way, leaving Jack and Diane to speculate about Victor's schemes and Audra's possible manipulation of Kyle. Tension intensifies when Phyllis gloats about her access to Kane, frustrating Billy, who wants in on Kane's plans. Their confrontation turns fiery when Billy throws Phyllis under the bus in front of Sharon and Nick, revealing she knows more than she's letting on. Sharon and Nick confront Phyllis, only to be met with her defiance. She accuses them of never giving her a chance, unlike Kane, who offered her a job. Nick warns her she's heading down a dangerous path, possibly with Kane. Elsewhere, Lily and Damian take their relationship to the next level, but their romantic moment quickly spirals into danger. Kane arrives and tells Lily he's letting her go and wishes her happiness. He then asks for a private word with Damian. Over drinks, Kane warns him not to hurt Lily, and they bond briefly over shared personal struggles. But things turn sinister. Both begin feeling woozy, possibly drugged. The drama peaks when a shadowy figure wielding a dagger approaches. In the struggle, Damian is stabbed, possibly fatally. Phyllis stumbles upon the scene, catching Kane holding the knife, making the situation look damning. Tuesday's episode shifts into crime thriller territory. Damian's stabbing sends shockwaves through the group. While his fate remains uncertain, Chance launches an investigation, despite lacking legal jurisdiction. As he begins questioning those present, the timing of everyone's movements becomes crucial. Many were alone when the attack happened, creating ample suspicion. Lily's world is rocked. After giving her heart to Damian, she now faces the possibility that he's gone. Meanwhile, Nikki, Victor, Jack, Diane, Billy, and Sally are conspicuously absent from Chance's initial questioning. Abby questions if everyone will be interrogated, and Devon bluntly states they're all suspects. By Wednesday, Devon suspects Kane may have acted out of jealousy. However, Kane defends himself, revealing he warned Damian someone was targeting him and that his hidden cameras may have caught the true attacker. Amanda, though still loyal to Kane professionally, is uneasy about his motives. Meanwhile, Nick has a heated exchange with Phyllis, demanding answers about what she saw. Thursday's drama shifts to Victor, who is laser-focused on protecting his family and their business empire. Adam is back under his guidance, and Victor may have found a secret way to communicate with his namesake. Kane, now firmly in the spotlight, becomes defensive as accusations fly. Lily confesses to Chance that Kane recently wanted her back and likely knew about her intimacy with Damian, a possible motive. Friday wraps up the week with more emotional upheaval. Jack delivers a harsh lesson to Billy, potentially pulling the plug on Abbott funding, believing Billy will waste the opportunity. Meanwhile, Audra and Kyle cross a dangerous line, possibly reigniting an old flame. Claire, grieving her father's death, will be outraged, and Nate won't take it well either. This betrayal could send shockwaves through several relationships. Sharon, determined to help Nick, may be joining him in a risky escape plan. With emotions running high and trust crumbling, the residents of Genoa City are bracing for a storm that may just be getting started. This upcoming week on The Young and the Restless promises edge-of-your-seat drama, layered mysteries, and complex emotional reckonings. From a shocking stabbing to romantic betrayals and shifting alliances, viewers are left to wonder who can be trusted and who's hiding something deadly. In the quiet stillness of a Genoa City evening, tragedy struck, and with it, a mystery that would upend lives and leave the community in stunned disbelief. At the heart of this unfolding drama is Lily Winters, a woman once defined by grace and resilience, now marked by grief, vengeance, and an act that could change her forever. It all began with the sudden and suspicious death of Damian, a man who had pulled Lily from the depths of sorrow and taught her to love again. His apparent murder sent shockwaves through Chancellor Park and left Lily shattered. But deep within her, she refused to believe it was a simple accident. Her instincts told her it was something more, a betrayal by someone once close to her. That someone was Cain Ashby. Once a lover, now a suspected manipulator, Cain had not taken well to Lily's newfound happiness. Behind a composed public image, he quietly crafted a plan designed to destroy not just Damian, but Lily as well. As tension grew, Damian disappeared, only to be found stabbed and declared dead. Too quickly and too conveniently. Grief turned to rage, and Lily confronted Cain in a dramatic showdown at the Chancellor estate. Armed with a gun she had hidden away long ago, she demanded answers. But when words failed, a shot rang out. Cain was left bleeding on the floor, and Lily, overwhelmed by anguish, was taken into police custody. Lily's arrest shook Genoa City to its core. Once the poised CEO of Chancellor Winters, she now faced charges of attempted murder. While the community reeled, family and allies struggled to make sense of her actions. Devon was torn between protecting his sister and facing the reality of what she had done. Victor Newman quietly launched a private investigation, sensing there was more to the story. And indeed, there was. Cain, despite surviving emergency surgery, remained vague in statements, refusing to name Lily as the shooter. Suspicion mounted when clues surfaced. No autopsy for Damian, no confirmed burial, and financial movements suggesting Cain was hiding something or someone. Then came a letter, handwritten, unmarked, but unmistakably from Damian. It claimed he was alive and in hiding, and hinted that Cain had not acted alone. Amanda Sinclair, Lily's attorney, worked with Michael Baldwin, Kevin Fisher, and others to follow the trail. Their efforts led to video footage of Damian boarding a plane, injured but very much alive. The courtroom gasped. The judge granted Lily bail. For the first time in weeks, she walked out not as a prisoner, but as a woman vindicated, at least partially. But peace was short-lived. The very next day, Cain vanished from his hospital room, leaving more questions in his wake. Had he fled? Was he silenced? And, most disturbingly, was Damian truly a victim, or a willing player in a dangerous game? With Damian's return and Cain's disappearance, the lines between villain and victim blurred. Lily now finds herself at the center of a deeper conspiracy, one involving manipulation, secrets, and perhaps a betrayal far greater than she imagined. The woman who once stood for elegance and strength now walks a path marked by violence and uncertainty. Lily Winter's journey is far from over. What began as a tragedy of the heart has become a full-blown mystery, with players moving behind the scenes and motives yet to be uncovered. Her actions, born from pain, cannot be undone. But with Damian alive and new truths surfacing, there may still be a chance at redemption. In Genoa City, where secrets never stay buried for long, Lily must now fight not just for justice, but for her soul. And while the road ahead is uncertain, one thing is clear. She is no longer a woman to be underestimated. In the upcoming episodes of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, airing from July 14th to 18th, 2025, things are getting intense as Cain's party takes a turn when something terrible happens, leaving everyone shaken. Chance ends up doing more police work than partying. Amanda makes a bold decision, and Phyllis once again gets caught up in trouble. At the same time, Nick tries to find a way out of a dangerous situation, while Sharon steps in to help. Devon begins to uncover some important clues. As always, Victor steps in to protect his family and stir things up. Meanwhile, Kyle and Audra finally give in to their feelings. At the beginning of the week, on The Young and the Restless, Cain gets jealous and calls out Damian for getting too close to Lily, turning the party awkward. Meanwhile, Amanda makes a deal that could shake up her relationships. As for Phyllis, she finds herself in trouble once again, something she's all too familiar with. Could her gut feelings be right this time? Things go wrong at Cain's party when a possible crime happens. Thankfully, Chance is there and quickly switches from guest to investigator. Nick realizes things are getting dangerous and makes a plan to get out. Lily, meanwhile, gets heartbreaking news that leaves her reeling. Could something bad have happened to Damian? In the middle of the week on The Young and the Restless, Devon starts putting the puzzle together and looks into what really went down at the party. Amanda begins to question Kane's real intentions. Was the party just a cover-up for something shady? Meanwhile, Nick is in full panic mode when he uncovers a shocking truth that changes everything. Victor protects his family's name and keeps the Newman legacy safe, no matter what it takes. While he's doing damage control, Kane faces serious accusations and must defend himself. Lily, caught between her past and present, gives Chance some information that could solve the mystery. By the end of the week on The Young and the Restless, Jack picks the worst time to give Billy some tough love, teaching him a hard lesson that really hits home. Meanwhile, Kyle and Audra finally stop holding back and give in to the tension between them, making a move that could cause problems later. Amidst all the chaos, Sharon steps up to help Nick, showing once again that she'll always fight for the people she cares about. This week on The Young and the Restless, major decisions will be made, secrets will come to light, and relationships will be tested like never before. With a shocking crime, surprising reveals, and fiery moments, life in Genoa City is anything but calm. Young and the Restless sees Phyllis Summers and Billy Abbott throwing in with Kane Ashby, and I think they're going to ruin their lives. I don't think it's going to end well for those two by choosing to work with the man formerly known as Aristotle Dumas. We're going to talk about how Billy and Phyllis might burn bridges that they're standing on by conspiring with Kane, and how they both may end up with nothing. So, right now, we've got Phyllis claiming to Sharon Newman that she's on the fence. She's not on Team Kane. That's what she said. But Phyllis did confess that she is considering an alliance with Kane because no one in Genoa City can stand to be around her. Nobody wants to hire her. However, before you buy a gift for Phyllis's pity party, don't forget she brought this all on herself. I mean, she's been a wackadoodle for years. But Red really started circling the drain when she faked her death to frame Diane Jenkins, and she alienated her kids, Summer Newman and Daniel Romalotti, by letting them think she died. So, Phyllis already burned down her own life, and now she's desperate for another shot. She needs approval. She's angry, lonely, and frustrated. She hasn't gotten laid in a while. I mean, let's be real. There's just not much for her to do since Summer left town, and Daniel told her pretty much butt out of my life on Young and the Restless. So, Phyllis is at loose ends personally and professionally. And ever since she heard the name Dumas, we have seen Phyllis weaving this whole insane fantasy about this guy that she didn't know being her key to a great new life. And now she knows who he is. Kane is considering using her, but he wants Phyllis to prove her loyalty. So, she is considering betraying everybody she knows, including her beloved ex, Nick Newman, to show Kane she's all in. She's on his side. The way Phyllis sees it, everybody in Genoa City has either betrayed her in some way or basically treats her like crap. And again, a lot of it is deserved. Not the stuff with Victor Newman. Victor has absolutely preyed on her, but pretty much everybody else. She's kind of burned those bridges herself. But with her and Kane, there's no bad history. There's no messy past. There's just a blank canvas and lots of potential between Phyllis and Kane. So that's why Phyllis is leaning towards siding with him. But imagine what happens if she starts spying on the few friends she has left and family, and is doing it for Kane. Any hope she had of acceptance in GC is going to be destroyed. I mean, Diane worked to restore her reputation, and she proved you could fake your death and implicate half the town in your supposed murder and still restore your reputation. But Phyllis, she's not even trying. She says she's a better woman now. She's been saying that for the better part of a year, but none of her actions support that claim. Daniel is not going to like Phyllis aligning with Kane. You know, Summer won't like it because that means her mom, Phyllis, is conspiring against her dad, Nick, and her grandpa, Victor. And to make matters so much worse, I suspect Phyllis gets more deeply involved with Kane very soon in a personal way. This week, Lily Winters hops in bed with Damian Kane and starts a real relationship with him, and Kane is devastated and jealous. And Josh Griffith said that Phyllis gets a romance soon. and nobody in GC would touch her with a 10-foot pole. So, it feels like it's going to be with Kane. And if everybody in Genoa City freaks, because Phyllis teams up with Kane for business reasons, if Phyllis also slides into his sheets, everybody may decide Red is irredeemable for getting close to Kane in every possible way. Alright, now let's talk about Billy Abbott. He is so butthurt about Victor basically tricking Jill Abbott into selling him Chancellor. Again, justified. Victor set up Billy. He told Jill some wicked lies and half-truths. He got Lily to conspire with him and basically misinformed Jill as well. So yeah, Billy Boy feels betrayed. But now Jack Abbott has invested millions to give Billy a fresh start, a new business all his own, Abbott Communications, with the understanding that Jack wants Billy to move on with his life. Start fresh. Forget Victor, forget Chancellor. Just, make a clean break. Make that fresh start. Jack wants Billy to have a good life and not get caught up in self-destructive thrill-seeking behavior. And now Jack Abbott is annoyed to see Billy handing over the reins to Sally Spectra so that Billy can conspire with Kane to take down Victor. It's not about Sally, it's about what Jack intended when he invested. What's crazy is, there is no reason for Billy to think he can trust Kane. He knows how dodgy that guy is. He came to Genoa City, pretending to be Billy's half-brother. Kane came to town as con man. He was raised by conman Colin. He is dodgy as heck, and they only have his word that he's changed. And it's quite clear he hasn't. But Billy is a gambling addict, and the thrill of the chase, the excitement of risk, is something he just cannot resist. So Jack is already outraged with Billy. But he won't back down. He's pushing forward with his plan to conspire with Kane no matter what it cost him. And Jack basically said Kane was going to cost Billy to lose two companies, Chancellor and Abbott, because Jack doesn't think there's any way this risk is worth it. Plus, he thinks Billy is throwing his life away on vengeance against Victor. Now, I don't think Jill will be upset if Billy conspires with Kane, because Jill loves Kane despite his past and, Colin and all that, which has raised him to be a dubious dude. Right now, Billy has been rejecting Jill because he's so angry she sold Chancellor to Victor. But Billy working with Kane could actually pull him back closer to Jill. But most of everyone else in GC is not going to handle this well. Victoria Newman is annoyed with her dad attacking Billy, but I don't think she'll approve of her baby daddy conspiring with Kane. In the end, Phyllis and Billy are both heading down a rough road by throwing in with Kane. And if she hadn't already, Phyllis will alienate anybody in her life that was still talking to her. She's going to lose Nick's respect. That's going to hit her hard. Plus, even though Summer's off-screen, she will be furious at Phyllis. Meanwhile, Billy could do some serious damage to key relationships with Jack and others. So, part of the problem is Billy has no idea what Kane's true agenda is, the whole extent of it. Billy just thinks Kane's after Chancellor, and he is. But that's just a little sliver of the pie. Kane is after everything. Newman Enterprises, Jabot, Chancellor, Winters, all of it. Kane is out to take everything from the Abbotts, the Newmans, and the Winters families. So if Billy inadvertently helps Kane steal Jebo from Jack and the Abbotts, that's a lifer for him. As for Phyllis, if Kane rips away Chancellor and Newman, Nick and Summer and others are going to despise her. But to be fair, Phyllis knows that Kane is aiming to take everything from everyone, and she's on board. So, people are going to be mad at Phyllis for knowing what Kane planned and being totally complicit in it. Even though Billy's partially blind about Kane's agenda, let's be real. Phyllis has her eyes wide open, and that is why both of them are about to ruin their lives getting in bed with Kane. And in Phyllis's case, that might be literal. It's going to be a train wreck. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see it happen. It was the week that kept on giving. The Young and the Restless knows how to bring the drama, and July 7-11 was no exception. A murder, a sibling setback, and a beautiful proposal kept us on our toes all week. What would possess Mariah to do such a terrible thing that we still don't quite know? What is a drunken mistake? A complete and total breakdown? Or is there a bigger and more wilder twist coming? With the state Mariah's in, we don't doubt there's more to this story. Much, much more. Speaking of people sick of their family chaos, Jack reached his breaking point with Billy. He cornered his little brother and laid into him on Wednesday in an explosive showdown that kept us highly entertained. This isn't the first time Jack has told Billy all about himself, and we're sure it won't be the last. But this fiery takedown was epic nonetheless. Despite having very little faith in Billy, Jack took a chance. A really big chance. He handed Billy the keys to his own kingdom, and just look at how he's ruining his life. Enough is enough for Jack. Billy better pick himself up by the bootstraps and make this right, or he may not have Jack's support for very much longer. This week, we watched Danny get down on one knee and propose to Christine. During Thursday's episode, he got his answer. Of course, she said yes. A big, huge, resounding yes. His ring is back where it belongs, and all is right in their world once again. We can't wait to see what their wedding will look like this time. Will they throw it back to the glory days of their beachside nuptials? Or will they take a different approach? Maybe they could say their vows on stage at one of his rock shows. Oh my, how that would wow a crowd.